Welcome back to the channel, guys. Today we're going to be talking about the Sig Air Reflex sight. Now, if you've been following the channel, you know that a lot of what I've been posting have been upgrades and accessories and things for my VFC M17. I'm kind of trying to trip the whole thing out, taking you guys along for the ride. And one of my most recent videos was the installation of the Sig Air Reflex sight. And now, I would love for that to have been, perfect, smooth sailing, everything go together right, and then work flawlessly as we all would, but that's not always the case. And well, I don't like to be a downer on the channel, so I try to avoid kind of negative vibes on these videos, but with this, I feel like this just needs to be addressed because I want to keep other people from making the same mistakes that I do, and also just save them time and headache wherever I can. So with this sight, it's not all bad. Some of the nice things about it are that you get a really good sight picture, you get a very stylish looking sight, very low profile, all those were great. When I got it, I did not have the traditional issues mounting it onto my gun that most people do, which I will say that would be more of a VFC issue because they're the ones who actually OEM the gun. So if you have a problem mounting it to the slide of the gun, that would have been on VFC, not on this sight. But that's not where I had the issue, like I said. So the sight went on flawlessly, had no issues with that. Got it on there, looked fantastic. Decided to go ahead and put a few rounds through it. Again, no issues, looked great. But the problem started whenever my mags started getting lower in pressure. And what I noticed was every now and then the slide would come all the way forward except for about 1/4 of an inch, maybe even less, maybe somewhere between 1/8 and 1/4 of an inch. And it would just stop, and you could push it forward and it would click into place, but it wasn't cycling correctly. And so I was trying to figure out what that was from, and eventually what I found was that on the top of the slide for the VFC M17, there's a little arm, and it actually locks into place into a little notch on the outer barrel. And from what I could tell, what that seems to do is it guides the nozzle into the hop up to avoid it striking the side or any of those other parts that are metal that would split your nozzle. And what that arm does is it locks into place, and then as the outer barrel gets closer back, it kind of rotates up because it's curved. It rotates up and kind of lets it slide into place. Then whenever it goes forward, it drops back down, catches it, and slides it into place. And again, from what I could tell, that seems to be to avoid the nozzle striking the side of your hop up and splitting, or even messing with your hop up, but that's metal, so I feel like the nozzle would be the part that would actually go out on you. And the issue that the sight was causing is that on the front of the sight, and I'll take it out of here really quick to show you, but basically on the front of the sight, there is a little rubber button to adjust the brightness, basically to turn it on and off. And that is right here. Let me get this out. Okay, so right here on the front, there's this rubber pad with the button. And what that was doing, because of how far forward it protrudes, it was actually holding that arm down. So what was happening is as the slide was cycling slower because it was getting lower on pressure, wasn't jumping back as far, so it also wasn't sliding forward as fast, that was actually contacting, and it had enough force to just stop the entire slide. And guys, feel free to correct me in the comments if this is an oversight on my part. I would love to make sure that everyone following along gets the right info, and that if I'm confused, I would love to get the right info as well. But I can't imagine that a function of the gun that it previously had should be completely canceled out when you add a part to it. I can't imagine that it was meant to be there to begin with, but the gun will function the exact same without any exponential wear down the road by completely negating that. And so that was already a huge red flag for me, but there's actually another really, really big downer with this sight that I love Sig Air. I'm so excited that Sig Sauer is getting into the airsoft industry. I'm really excited for what that means for the future. Everybody spam them, tell them we want a gas blowback. Sig MCX, because that would be amazing. And hopefully they'll do it soon. I mean, they're really getting involved. I really, really appreciate that as an airsofter because it just drives up the quality. But they need to address this sight. They need to come out with a second generation. They need to take the feedback from not just me, not just little me, but everybody. A lot of people have stated the same things. I'm kind of stubborn. I saw it, I was like, you know, I'll make it work. That one issue alone was enough for me to take it off of my gun, but the one that everyone else seems to be having was the exact same for me. There's a little screw on the back of the sight that you need to loosen to zero it. Makes sense, right? It's on a gas blowback gun. If you want to change the windage and elevation, you're gonna want to be able to loosen and tighten it down so that it doesn't shift while you're shooting. But guys, this is where it gets really, really just difficult to use in my opinion. When you mount this, you mount it using the slide, the RMR plate, and then your iron sights. The screws go all the way through from the bottom of the top of your slide, through the RMR plate, into the iron sights, and they hold it all together. Once you mount those iron sights, they're right here. They're blocking the screw. So you literally cannot adjust this sight without taking it completely apart and off of this gun. And that literally means you have to walk it onto target. You have to adjust it a little bit, put it back on and hope it's right. Adjust a little bit, put it back on and hope it's right. And that is just horrible because, to be honest, with gas blowbacks, we already know we're dealing with some inconsistencies. So that could mean you think you have it right 6 times before you finally get it right. And that's just not worth the trouble. And so again, I'm not here to bash Sig Sauer or Sig Air. I love them to death. I love my VFC M17, which wouldn't have happened without them. So I just hope that they can take the feedback from everyone, again, not just me, and just make some adjustments to this sight, come out with a second generation. I'll buy that one too because I'm super OCD and I love to get all the parts for a gun from the same person. But for now, I just have to go on record to say I cannot recommend this to people who are looking to upgrade their M17 or their M18 with an RMR. I would go the route of getting, for instance, what I'm gonna do, I'm going to get the MIT Airsoft RMR mount. And no, the thumbnail was not clickbait. There is a sneak peek. So in that vein, since we've kind of gone over the biggest grievances with this sight, and like I said, I'm not trying to be a downer, so we're gonna go ahead and gloss over that and get back to the fun and happy side of things. We have this. And we're not making a video about this right now. This is the SOTAC Gear RMR. I will show it to you really quick. Don't want to taunt you guys. I got this from AliExpress. And what we're gonna be doing is, if you stay tuned on the channel, we're gonna do an install video, then we're gonna do some testing, we're gonna take it out for some gameplay, and we will do a review on this one as well. The main reason for the gameplay being more necessary is that it feels great, it looks great, but we have to get it on the gun to make sure it performs great, because when you order something from AliExpress, a lot of times what lacks is the functionality. I don't want to put that onto the gun, shoot 10 shots and have it lose 0 and be pointless. So with that, guys, if you can't hit your shots, you can hit the like and subscribe buttons. I'll see you guys next time.